The condor hero of a utopian society in Ecuador, million years ago where animals ruled an utopian world. In Ecuador lived a condor that fought against the injustices of society, a different society without humans but with animals that had converted into the people who inhabited the city. One day, President Beer had announced the construction of a public university in the country's Amazon. The proposal sounded interesting, but the Condor knew that the president was not a reliable animal. First, the Condor investigated the past construction of the government of President Beer and found financial irregularities. After after that, the Condor had realized that President Beer wanted to steal part of the money from the construction of the university, so the Condor installed a camera in the office of the president and managed to record a meeting between the president and the finance minister, who was a cat. In the video, President Beer confessed the corruption of his government and what they intended to do. Finally, the Condor unmasked President Beer and showed the city the king of president they had. In this way, the Condor aimed the respect of the people and the society applauded the heroic act. The second is history. The title is Tiger Dream. Once upon a time, there was a tiger in the depths of the forest without a dream. The tiger's dream was to find his mother, who had been kidnapped by the owners of a circus. Although it had been 5 years since his mother was kidnapped, the tiger wanted to escape from the forest but was too small to survive. Without the hare and the tiger waited for the right moment to leave the jungle and go in search of his mother. One day the tiger decided to run away and escaped from the other tigers. He lived near the circus, and one night the tiger ran away until he was able to rescue his mother. The tiger ran for long distances and for several days to escape. First, the tiger had gotten to find the river near the community. Then when the tiger found the river, he was able to visualize the circus, then far away, and knew where to go to look for his mother from him. Next, the tiger, despite his fatigue, continued walking until they reached the circus. But one day he fainted and dreaming that he was with his mother, and the dream woke him up. After that, the tiger decided to fulfill his dream and they continued walking. The persistence of the tiger made of Nin fin the circus. The tiger searched and found his mother, who had been captured in a cave. Finally, the tiger opened the cage and his mother was rescued by her and together they returned to forest. Thank you.
The Cosmic Feline Story. In the town of Greendale on November 16, in the afternoon, it was a day with a great storm. In the Ross family house, there were two brothers, one named Freddie and the other Michael, and a cat named Mitch. Suddenly had begun to rain with great thunders, and Mitch the cat was scared. It had already left the house because of the noise and climbed a tree in front of this. Freddie scared I hadn't known how to get the cat down from the tree until a strong lightning struck him. The cat and the tree had fallen when the lightning struck. Michael from the windows thought that the cat was dead and he came down with a towel to pick up. Surprisingly, it was without any injury. Also, a strange power came out of its body like lightning bolts, and he could also communicate with the brothers. Suddenly, some shadows came down from the sky and attacked the brothers and caught Michael. The cat Mish had started to face them with his power. With great skill, he managed to defend them. The enemies told him that it was a power that did not belong to him and that one day would return for revenge. The Lanus story. A street dog lived in the streets of a rural neighbor of Quito called Velasco, and this was its story. It all started when it arrived one night and a cat had parked on the street of the neighbor, opened its doors and abandoned it. Lanus had met three other street dogs, but something about him was special. The dog had waited for a week, but they never come back for it. As the days passed and people had started giving him food, although many people didn't like him because he was dirty and he always made most of the streets happy. One day, a person from the neighborhood had two fighting dogs and took them off the neighbor park. Both those children also went to the park. The dogs had wanted to bite up the children, but Lanus the dog faced them and protected the children. Although the dog had been left with many injuries, the neighbors came out to treat him to take him to the hospital. He was gone everyone's appreciation. Very nice he accompanies the neighbor and children who go out to take care of them from any danger. They have already passed 6 years since the dog arrived and it will always be the great friend of the neighbor.
When Victor Cardenas was walking in the right night, he heard a noise as a small dog inside a box, malnourished and scared. Victor Cardenas took it to the police station where he worked. 6 months have passed, and until Art, the name of Victor, have given it started to work as a real police dog. One day, Art was at the international airport on Argentina. He had started to knife something. It was familiar to it, drugs. He started working and Victor started to check the luggage. 50 kilograms of drugs. Victor was appointed to perform the common procedure until offender started to run. Art was released. It looked like he was going to catch him until he pulled out a gun pointed at the direction at Victor. When the dog saw this, he jumped in the protector him. Minutes later, only a whimper last heard from the dog. It had big shot, hitting his right leg, leaving in the mobile, losing a lot of blood. Victor took it to a veterinary clinic. With Art was stabilized. However, it had a lot his that accident forced to Art to retire from the service of the police dog. What fears he was giving a bad gift for his barber and loyalty to the person who one day as a puppy saved it for the dangers of the street. In the war on the world, the most famous division was the Courier Brigade, which have been trained to send a message to different parts of the world. Chair Ami was one of the smart brigades in the division. It had delivered nearly 20,000 letters in the last 2 months. But it was one letter that changed the course of the war. One Monday, April 3rd, 2019, the US Army sent Chair Ami to deliver a message. They had decided to stop the fear. The letter was addressed to the Colonel Natasha Romanov of Russia, who hours earlier had agreed to drop a biological bomb on the United States. Chair Amin journey was a complicated 5,536 miles across of the Arctic Ocean. The United States had seen the battle as lost. However, when they last expected, Chair Army had landed on the Russian base. The Russian army attacked against it. All weapons were pointed at the pigot, so it had sold and away reaching the colonel. Romanov said in Chair Army's red flag decided to stop the fear and read the message. When he had finished reading, he took the pigot in arm, looked at the horse trucks and engineers and asked them to stop the fury. He took the dove and releasing it as a symbol of peace.